Welcome. This is a gentle flow that is perfect to do if you have been backpacking, hiking, running, or spending a lot of time on your feet. I will lead you through a series of postures focused on opening up through the chest, as well as releasing tension in the lower body to help speed up recovery time and leave you feeling great. So grab your mat and water and let us begin. Hello, and thanks for joining me today in beautiful southern Utah. We will start today in a comfortable seated position and just beginning by closing the eyes and paying attention to the breath, bringing yourself to the present moment, maybe paying attention to any sensations in the body, maybe even the noises around you, or anchoring in the breath. Taking a few breaths here. Take one last breath in this position and then begin to stand up, meeting in a standing position, mountain pose. Hands are facing towards the screen, pulling in the low belly, engaging through the low belly. Softening through the face, through the shoulders, just coming to the present moment once again. They say that the present moment is the only moment that truly exists. So part of yoga is starting to pay attention to the things around us, bringing ourselves to the present moment, enjoying where we are right now. Maybe you can also take a moment to set an intention for the practice today. Maybe that's staying in the present moment. Maybe that is releasing tension, releasing anxiety. If you've been backpacking, maybe it's just recovering the muscles and the ligaments. On your next exhale, reaching your arms up towards the sky, clasping the fingers, and inhale, stretch towards the left side, breathing into the side body, coming back to center and stretching towards the other side. On your next exhale, coming back towards center. Inhale, arms up towards the sky. Exhale, taking a slight back bend. Opening through
Exhale,
the chest,
taking a slight back bend.
Exhale, forward fold.
And inhale,
halfway
exhale,
lift.
forward fold.
And placing the
Inhale,
hands
halfway
on the mat,
lift.
stepping back to plank position.
Exhale, hands
Knees
to the
down
mat,
to the
stepping back
pushing
into
back
plank
into
position,
child's
lowering the
pose.
knees and pushing back into a
Breathing
child's
here,
pose.
Taking a breath.
Taking a breath
On your
here.
exhale, coming back up
Then
to
rising back
tabletop,
up to hands and knees
pushing the
position,
hips
tucking the
back
toes,
into
lifting up and
downward
back
facing
into
dog.
downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths
Take a
here.
breath and look between the hands. Step up to the front of the mat, forward.
And then looking
fold,
between the hands,
halfway
stepping
lift,
to the front of the mat, forward fold,
and
halfway
rolling up
lift,
back to standing position.
and lifting
Inhale,
back up
arms to
into
the
a standing
sky.
position.
Exhale,
Inhaling arms up to the
down.
sky.
Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Stepping back into plank position, lowering the knees and pushing back into a child's pose. Taking a breath here. Rising back up to hands and knees position, tucking the toes, lifting up into downward facing dog and stepping to the front of the mat, forward fold. And rising up to standing position. Inhale, arms reaching up. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, halfway lift. Stepping back into plank position, lowering the knees and into child's pose. taking a couple of breaths here, releasing any tension out of the lower back. On your next exhale, rising back up to hands and knees position, tucking the toes back into downward facing dog, taking a few breaths here, pausing, maybe walking out the dog. And what I mean by that is bending one knee and straightening the other, taking any movements you need. Exhale, lifting the right leg up and back towards the sky, bending the knee and taking a few hip circles in each direction. And switching directions. And bringing the right foot towards the front of the mat in between your two hands and rising up into a high runner's lunge. Option to lift your arms up towards the sky, making sure that your hips are square. Again, engaging through the low belly. Taking a breath here and then reaching behind the back, clasping the fingers and pulling towards the ground. You can stay here or bow down towards the earth, resting the chest on the right thigh. Hands are reaching up towards the sky, humble warrior. Taking one more breath here, and on your next exhale, releasing the hands and bringing the left hand to the mat. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. Option to let your gaze follow the right hand, so gazing up towards the sky or looking down towards the ground. Looking up towards the sky will challenge your balance a little bit. Taking one more breath here. On your exhale, bringing the right hand down to the mat, lowering the left knee into a low lunge. Option to bring your hands to the knee, feeling the stretch in the psoas, in the hip flexor. If you've been running or hiking, this is an area that definitely needs some attention, some release. On your next exhale, pushing back into half split. And then flowing a little bit, inhale, low lunge, exhale, half split. One more time, inhale, low lunge, exhale, half split. Holding the half split, making sure that your hips are square, so thinking about bringing the left hip back, right hip forward. You want to make sure that your back is straight. So that might require putting some blocks underneath your hands or a book, or bending the right knee a little bit more. Staying here for one more breath. On your exhale, coming back into a low lunge and bringing your hands to the left side of the mat, walking the right foot out towards the right side and letting the knee fall a little bit to the right. Option to lift the left knee or option to come down onto the elbows. Whatever is within your practice and feels good on your body. Just breathing into the stretch. Opening up through the hips. Taking one more breath here. Then you can either stay here or take a quad stretch. If you're taking the quad stretch, if you're on your elbows, rising up, and then bringing the left hand closer towards the middle of the mat, right hand lifts up and over, grabbing the toe, the left toe. If you're not able to grab the toe, you can grab the heel or using a strap to add some extra length, or you can stay in the lizard position. On every exhale, releasing a little bit further, allowing the body to relax into the pose. On your next exhale, releasing the foot, walking your right foot back towards the center of the mat and lifting into plank position. Option to take a flow here or meet me in downward facing dog. Take just a moment here, just a breath in downward dog, just to recenter and bring yourself back to the present moment. And on your exhale, lifting the left leg up and back now, and bending the knee, taking some hip circles on this side. And then reversing the direction. And when you're even on both directions, bring the left foot between the hands, finding your balance and lifting up into a high runner's lunge. Option to reach your arms up to the sky. Again, keeping the hips square, lower belly drawn in, and reaching the arms behind, clasping the fingers and drawing the knuckles towards the ground, opening through the chest, and option to bow down into humble warrior, resting the chest on the left thigh, knuckles up to the sky, opening through the upper back, through the chest, but also engaging the lower body. Taking one more breath here, and on your exhale, bring the hands towards the ground, on the ground, and right hand stays on the ground, left arm reaches up towards the sky, gaze can follow the left hand up towards the sky, or look towards the ground. Just breathing in here. On your next exhale, bringing the hand down, lowering the right knee to a low lunge. Option to bring the hands to the knee, feeling the release of the hip flexor, the stretch. On your next exhale, pushing back into half split and flowing a little bit, coming into low lunge on the inhale, exhale half split, inhale low lunge, exhale half split, holding the half split, making sure that the hips are square. So think about bringing the left hip back, right hip forward. Feeling the stretch through the hamstring. Sending some gratitude to your legs, to your lower body for enabling you to hike or run or even walk. On your next exhale, coming back into low lunge, bringing your hands to the right side of the mat, walking that left foot toward the left side of the mat, letting the left knee fall slightly. Option to tuck the right toe and lift the right knee. Option to come down onto the elbows. Again, whatever feels best to your body, just listening to your own body. And again, finding moments to send gratitude to your body, to these different muscle groups for all they've done for you, especially if you've been backpacking or hiking, how many miles they've taken you. On your next exhale, option to take the quad stretch. So rising up if you're on your elbows, bringing the right hand closer to the middle of the mat, left arm reaches up and over, grabbing the toe of the right side, or option to grab the heel. You can also wrap a strap around the foot, holding with the hand just to bring it closer to you if it's not possible for you. On your next exhale, releasing the stretch, bringing the left foot closer to midline, lifting back up into plank position. Option to take a flow here or meet me in downward facing dog. Just taking a few breaths in downward facing dog, maybe shaking out the legs. On your next exhale, coming down to your knees and walking your hands out to the front of the mat, melting the chest down to the floor, down to the mat in a puppy pose, making sure that your hips are still over your knees. If you want to increase the stretch, bring the chin to the mat, looking up. Otherwise, just staying with your forehead down to the mat, feeling the opening through the chest. This is a great pose if you've been carrying a backpack. Releasing the tension. One more breath here, and on your exhale, shift your weight to your elbows, coming forward into a cobra pose. Your shoulders are over your elbows, relaxing through the shoulders, opening up through the chest, through the upper back. And taking one more breath here. On your exhale, lowering down and bringing the right arm to a cactus position, laying it down on the ground. Left hand comes to the mat next to you and gently rolling towards the right side until you feel a stretch through the chest, through the pectoral. Option to bend the left knee and bring the left foot behind you. Also an option, if it's within your practice, to bring the left arm up towards the sky and then around behind your back if you would like more of a stretch. Just coming back to the breath. Finding your inhale and exhale, and on your next exhale, coming back to center, maybe shaking out the shoulders. And bring the left hand to cactus position now. Right hand to the mat. Slightly pushing to the left side, rolling to that side, and feeling the stretch through the pectoral muscle, through the chest. Option to bend the right knee, bring the right foot behind you, just to touch the ground behind you. Taking one more breath here. And on your next exhale, coming back to center, releasing the foot, bringing the hand back in, rolling through the shoulders and pushing back into child's pose. Taking an opposite position with the spine. A counter pose. Just breathing in here. Every exhale, releasing a little bit more tension. One more breath here. On your exhale, rising up to kneeling position and tucking your toes underneath you in hero pose, feeling an opening through the feet, Also an option to clasp your fingers behind you, pulling towards the ground, opening through the chest once more. Our feet in this area we use a lot but often don't pay attention to. This is a moment when you can send some gratitude to your feet and give them some attention, stretching them out. Your next exhale, sweep your legs around in front of you and lowering one vertebra at a time onto your back. Taking a figure 4 on the right side, bringing the right ankle above the left knee, sweeping the hands between the legs and clasping the fingers behind the left thigh. Pulling the left thigh gently towards the body. You can also use the right elbow to push against the right knee gently to increase the stretch. You should feel the stretch in the outer hip area. This is an area where we tend to hold a lot of tension, hold a lot of stress. Now we're going to let all of that go. On your next exhale, releasing the pose, coming back to center. Just shaking out the legs a little bit, coming to the other side. Left ankle just above the right knee. Sweeping the arms between the legs, clasping fingers behind the right thigh. Gently pulling towards the body. Left elbow can gently press on the left thigh, increasing the stretch. Just breathing into it. When we're in some of these hip releasing asanas, there can also be an emotional release as well as a physical. And if this happens, if you feel any emotions rising up, just allow yourself to feel them and then let them go. Don't hold it in. On your next exhale, releasing the pose, bringing your feet up to the sky, bending the knees and grabbing the outside of the feet, or you can also grab toes, the big toe with peace fingers in a happy baby pose. Option to rock side to side or stay still. Just releasing any tension, any last bits of tension or worry. Just let it all go. Take one more deep breath here. On your exhale, release a tiny bit further. And on your next exhale, releasing the pose, be rocking side to side and rolling onto one side or the other, coming into a seated pose. Just taking a moment to thank yourself for doing something good for your body, for your mind. And take one last breath with me. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands to the third eye chakra between the eyes, then to the heart. Namaste, and I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and leave any comments with other videos that you would like to see, any other flows, and we'll see you next time.